Twisters movie review. Right off the bat, I will say you must go see this movie in theaters. If you like the first Twister movie, you really should like this. Of course, it's more of an updated version. I don't know if you want to call it a more realistic version, but it just feels like you're in the movie a little bit, a few different times, and you get immersed into some of the things that the storyline and the tornadoes themselves, seeing it in the theaters. At least I did. I really enjoyed it. The theater was actually packed. And I think if you do go and see it in the theaters, you will be pleasantly surprised at how good the movie is. Going in, I had low expectations because it's a sequel and it's about tornadoes, and we've had so many different movies about hurricanes and, well, even other tornadoes and just twists on different weather phenomenon over the years. So I was like, all right, this probably isn't going to be the best movie, because how are they going to make this different or feel different? And it completely blew my expectations out of the water. It's not really a huge graphic type movie, except for the tornado parts. Just the story felt pretty solid. The tornadoes, when they did show them, looked really good, believable, and just how they actually went into some of the weather aspects of it, like how tornadoes form, and they actually used the language, whereas the first movie, they really didn't do none of that. This one actually did. So I was really happy about that. Not that I'm going to remember any of the phrases or words that they used, or even some of the technology, but it was definitely different. And yeah, again, I really liked it. For the story itself, there is a couple twists very early on. So it basically starts with this group of college kids trying to get some weather data and actually what they call tame a tornado by shooting up stuff or letting the tornado suck up this like moisture wicking type material, so it sort of chokes out a tornado. And they actually do show the original Dorothy, how they had those like metal spinning things inside. So that was pretty neat and nostalgic part of it. Also, right away, they didn't bring up really none of the past story or the characters at all. So it basically is a standalone movie itself. So that was nice. Dorothy was probably the one real throwback to the first movie. Well, I would say it's the only one, unless I missed some Easter egg somewhere, but whatever. Well, anyway, these college kids are trying to get this stuff into the tornado and track it. And here, it wasn't an F1, it ended up being a really bigger, I think like an F5. I don't know if they really ever said it, but it was a bigger tornado than they expected, and they were in its path. And then their truck got stuck, and the characters that you see right off the bat end up getting killed. They were trying to go to an overpass, which they said is actually a really bad idea for a tornado, even though other movies tend to tell people to go and hug an overpass. So that was kind of weird. I guess maybe science caught up a little bit with that theory. Anyway, only the one girl survived, who was like the head of the group trying to get this grant, to get more money for the project and make it more feasible, I guess, and a better study. Anyway, then she ends up in New York, because after that cut scene, which is like the first 5 minutes of the movie, you see her in New York working for like a weather company, and the other sole surviving member of that group early on comes to visit her. He actually was in a different truck farther away reading the data. He was like the data guy that was stationed farther away. I guess I should have said that. So he wasn't with them trying to get that stuff absorbed up into the tornado. So that's why he survived, because he was nowhere near where they were, getting in the tornado's pathway. But he comes and tries to recruit her for his company, Storm Power, which plays like the whole role in the movie throughout. She's hesitant at first, then she ends up going and says she's only going for a week. I guess that's about what she was there for. Maybe, maybe like a 10-day stretch. But not that that's really important per se. Even though she did say a couple times she's only there for a week. So he has this new technology because he went to the military and they shrunk down some kind of science sensors now that they can do it mobile, and they can actually scan tornadoes. So they could actually get a reading of it, but they need to do like a triangular scan of a tornado for whatever kind of information he wants, so he could help his business partner, I guess. Well, you'll find out later. He's actually kind of a shady character, but he's really not in the movie much. But the guy that recruits the main character, he's all about supposedly saving people and getting the tornado scan for his business, to take off. The first tornado that they actually do catch up to, she actually screws the pooch a little bit, and they don't get their sensor down because she actually drove away out of the path because she took the truck. And I guess when they first backtrack up about like 5 minutes, when she first gets out there, they meet up with his whole group of scientists that have like PhDs and worked for NASA and all those different 3-letter acronyms. And then there was another group that came, the Tornado Wranglers, which play basically the bad guys early on, but in the end they're really the good guys. They're kind of cocky and wild, and they're all about social media, getting likes on YouTube and stuff like that. They're not really out to necessarily study tornadoes per se. But anyway, the girl, main character girl, she has this sort of sixth sense, if you want to call it that, about the weather. She just has this feeling about which storm cells are bad. If there's a couple storm cells, she knows which one to do. And I guess it's kind of hard to explain like how she feels and does stuff, but besides that sixth sense type feeling, but she interacts with that Tornado Wrangler when they all first meet up, and he asks her which cell that they should go after, and she actually sends him the wrong way, but he actually follows his group of, or her group of scientists, and they cut them off, and they have like a little bit of a battle. It's sort of a rivalry, I guess, more than anything. And here he's shooting up fireworks because his truck, he's got this kind of specialty truck where he can actually go into a tornado and survive. It sort of drills down into the ground and has extra weight added to it, so he could actually drive into tornadoes. So he shoots up fireworks into the tornado, which is kind of neat. Something different, like a new twist. Because again, he's just trying to make money off of social media and not really necessarily, again, study tornadoes. But he cuts them off a little bit, and when she takes the truck and goes the wrong way, the tornado is gone, but he actually gets to shoot his up. And he's actually got a news reporter from England way, I believe what it was, doing a report on him. And then later on, the story's actually about her instead, because she's more interesting. But then there was couple other tornadoes that they went after, and the data really didn't work because the one sensor got taken off, and that's sort of when things went to a different like storyline per se. It's kind of hard to describe it, but like I said, one of the sensors in that triangular scan that they were trying to do got taken off, so they had to go find it. But the tornado where that got taken off actually hit this town, so they went to help because she was bitching about, we don't need to find a sensor, we need to go help these people that just got hit. And that's when she sort of found out that the storm power guy, his boss, is actually more or less a shady real estate agent who comes in and sweeps in and buys real estate from areas that got hit with tornadoes at like a low price, and he actually is partnering with storm power so he could track and sort of swoop in earlier, I guess is what his plan is, to buy land from out underneath people so he can make a bunch of money. So when she finds that out, she goes back to her house that she hasn't been to in years, visits her mom with all her sciencey stuff that she made in high school and college. And the tornado wrangler guy comes and visits her because they sort of make up, and he's trying to be her friend. Well, probably more than a friend, or even early on, because he's got a nice eclectic group of people that help him, which are very interesting, and they're really good characters. I think their characters developed pretty good. But she finds out that he's trying to help her, and he helps her collect better data so her weather system that would choke a tornado out actually works. So that's basically the second half of the movie, is where they're trying to, well, maybe the last 25% of the movie, where they're trying to get his weather data system and hers working together so they could collect it and actually scan a tornado and then actually see if it works. They tried one solo, just him and her without his crew. It seemed to work, but they needed a bigger, I guess, system, like more barrels of the stuff and a better truck to actually be able to drive into the tornado so it sucks it up in. But his crew helps out, and you find out his crew is actually, what you might think early on, just so you know, like cocky bastards. They're actually there helping people, because when that town got hit, when she found out, they were actually passing out food and water and stuff like that, even though they were still selling some like merchandise that they always had with them trying to sell. You find out that the money they were making from their social media and their t-shirt sales were actually going to buy food and supplies for people that just got hit by tornadoes. So you realize they're actually the good guys in this whole scenario. They're not just out storm chasing and being cocky. But when they meet up, you know, they get all their gear ready for like the big test. They get everything working and set up, and here a tornado hits the ground. You know what I mean? It's sort of unrealistic in the sense that there's a bunch of tornadoes, you know, the worst on record type deal, but it really doesn't feel that overwhelming in a short period of time while you're watching the movie, so don't worry about that. But this big tornado comes, and it's going right for a town, so instead of setting up their sensors and getting that stuff that choked the tornado out, they go and try to warn the town and get people to safety. Well, the town's really not set up for that sort of thing, and there's a bunch of people in like a movie theater which didn't have a basement, so they were pretty much all gonna die. So she takes a truck the truck and goes drives the tornado herself. And gets the stuff sucked up in and actually chokes it out, and that's sort of like the ending of it, in the short sense of it. I mean, there's a lot more details I could go into, and story and plot twists, but for having to wait 20 plus years for this movie, I was definitely very happy with it, and I'm glad I went to the theaters to see it, because I just think the theaters bring it out so much more with the surround sound and just that wide screen. Like when you did see the tornadoes, you could see it on such a bigger screen that it did bring things into more of a first-person perspective than you would just sitting at home eating Cheetos on your couch. So that's why I say go see it in the theaters, because you will be happy that you do. It's not really scary, so kids can go see it. And again, it's not unrealistic. I mean, if you look at it from the unrealistic perspective about the tornadoes hitting, you know, we'll just say like half dozen tornadoes within like 5 days. I don't know how realistic that is, but other than that, it didn't feel over the top at all, and it didn't drag. It kept your attention throughout the whole movie, at least kept my attention, and just waiting for that next little plot twist or excitement on the screen, or just added feature to the storyline, like a little tidbit here or there. So yeah, I would definitely recommend people going to see it. I mean, if it was free, I'd go see it again in the theaters, but I just don't want to spend another, $10 on a movie ticket. But I definitely can't wait to see it again when it comes out, streaming or on DVD or whatever. Because I really enjoyed the first one, and again, it's different from the first one, and there's a little bit more sciencey to it, and it felt like it was more developed in general storyline, science and technology wise as well. And then of course the graphics are obviously going to be better, and just the character development in general overall was better. So go check it out and see it when you get a chance.